Are we gonna do this trilogy or not? Paint or get off the f***ing ladder? Hey everybody, Colton here, and in this one we've got a question from Toby. Toby writes, James Gunn is trying to rush through Matt Reeves' Batman trilogy so that he can get Brave and the Bold made and not have two Batmans going at once. God forbid his DCU Batman have to share the stage with Matt Reeves. I know you're a Gunn glazer, so I'm sure you love this news, but I also know you liked the Batman, so I'm curious what your thoughts are. All right, gonna feist you in here today. Okay, let's take a look at this report from the Direct. It comes from Daniel Rigman, and this is the report that I think Toby, this is the report that Toby's referring to. So Rickman said this: the Brave and the Bold is not coming for years. Instead, Gunn is pushing to get the Batman 3 out faster. He wants that trilogy over. He wants to move on. Music to my fucking ears. And I say that as someone who loved the Batman, and I say that as someone who is very excited for the Batman 2, and I'm very excited to hear that they are doing the Batman 3. And I'm even more excited to hear that they are going to complete that trilogy before they do a DCU Batman. You know, if you've been watching me for any span of time, you know that this is exactly what I've been saying needed to happen. Before you introduce the DCU Batman, before you do the Brave and the Bold, finish the Matt Reeves trilogy. I don't want two Batman franchises going at once. Don't dilute the brand. Just finish the Batman and then do your DCU Batman. And I also argued that doing that and delaying introducing the DCU Batman, not only is that good, I think, for the Matt Reeves Batman trilogy, let it have its time in the sun and do its thing, but I think it's also good for the DCU. It puts DC overall in a position where they can have a Batman franchise going. I mean, he is their, most popular and profitable character, but that takes the pressure off of the DCU to have to introduce their Batman right now. It gives the DCU some non-Batman breathing room. I've argued in the past that Spider-Man and the X-Men not being on the table for the MCU to use, that forced Marvel Studios to get creative and give a C-list character like Iron Man a shot, and it paid off big time. So yes, I am very, very, very glad to hear that James Gunn is of the same mind that there shouldn't be two Batman movie franchises going at once, and that they both deserve room to breathe and have their own time in the spotlight, their own time in the bat signal. No, okay. I think it's what's best. It's what's best for the DCU, and it's what's best for the Matt Reeves Batman trilogy. Now, contrary to our questioner, Toby, who seems to think that James Gunn is doing Matt Reeves a disservice, James Gunn is doing the Reevesverse and Matt Reeves a massive favor. I, as a fan of the Batman and the Penguin series, and as a guy who really wanted to see the Batman trilogy, I did, however, make a video a while back before the Batman 2 script was, finally delivered, and we just kept getting report after report that Reeves had still not delivered it to DC, to James Gunn. When we were going through that, I reached a point where I was of the opinion that they might just need to cancel the thing. Reeves was taking way too long to get a sequel to that movie made. And with me having the opinion that James Gunn apparently shares, I'm glad to hear, that they needed to finish that Batman, the Batman Matt Reeves trilogy before they do a DCU Batman, I was reaching the point of, you know what? Fuck it. I was ready to pull the plug. And James Gunn, he could have done the same thing because they were just taking way too long. And you don't want two Batmans going at once. So I was like, you know what? It's time. Not doing the Batman 2. Sorry, you took too long. We're moving forward. We're doing other things. And I would have been disappointed if that happened, but I would have 100% understood if they did that. Now, James Gunn, he didn't do that, and I'm glad he didn't, but he could have. Or he could have told Reeves, hey, this second, the Batman 2, you're going to get to do it, but this is the last one. So wrap up what you want to wrap up because we're moving on after this one. But no, Gunn likes Matt Reeves. He likes the Batman franchise that they've created over there, and he wants to see its trilogy get to be completed. So he's willing to delay his DCU Batman so that Matt Reeves can have his Batman trilogy and that it can finish out, and we get to have the best of both worlds. Finish the Batman trilogy and then move on to a brand new Batman in the DCU. If you're a fan of, Matt Reeves' Batman, you should be thanking, really, I think, James Gunn, because I don't know that I would have been as patient if I were in Gunn's position. I mean, the Batman came out 4 years ago? The sequel should already be out. The Batman 2 should have already come out, and the third one should be going into production. So, I'm all for James Gunn saying, essentially, in regards to this third one, let paint or get off the fucking ladder. Are we going to do this trilogy or not? Oh, we are? Okay, well then let's do it. So, to our questioner here, Toby, who says that these, he says all these silly things like, oh, Gunn doesn't want to share the stage, and I don't want to share the stage. I don't want my Batmans having to share the stage. I don't want 2 Batman movie franchises at once. No, thank you. No, thank you. It's too much. So finish one, finish the trilogy, then do the other. And, as far as Gunn, these reports that he's rushing or not reports that he's rushing the third one. That's how how Toby described it, phrased it, that he's rushing it. It really says that he's fast tracking it. That means that he is saying, let's do it. Let's not sit around on our hands for another 4 years. Do the damn thing. I am fully willing to let you do it. As the president of DC, the CEO, the boss, I am willing to hold off and let you do it. But you gotta fucking do it. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on that. And, I did a video a while back making the argument that the DCU, it doesn't need Batman right now. It does need Batman eventually, just not right now. And it would mean a lot to me if you guys stuck around and watched that video. I'm going to play it for you. James Gunn's DCU has officially kicked off with Superman, and it's great. We've got Supergirl coming, we've got Guy Gardner's Green Lantern and the other Lanterns, Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, as well as some holdovers from the DCEU like Peacemaker, Amanda Waller, Blue Beetle, Momoa coming back as Lobo. And in a recent interview with James Gunn, he indicated that Margot Robbie will also be coming back as Harley Quinn. So to me, with this already flourishing universe of characters, it shows us that DC can do this thing without having to lean on Batman so damn hard, without having to make Batman carry the entire franchise like they've done before. DC has a goldmine of great characters not named Batman. And guys, remember, once upon a time, Marvel Studios didn't have access to their most popular characters like Spider-Man and the X-Men when they were trying to build the MCU. And them not having access to those characters forced them to give B characters like Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America a chance, and boy did it pay off. Marvel created the most successful film franchise of all time without even having access to their heaviest hitter, Spider-Man. And the same could be true for DC. For way too long, DC has benched their entire world of heroes to make Batman, Batman, and more Batman. And don't get me wrong, I love Batman. He's my favorite DC character, even though I know that is cliche to say, but it's true. I love me some Batman, and I cannot wait for Matt Reeves' the Batman 2 and hopefully the Batman 3. But as far as the DCU goes, we don't need them to have a Batman right now, especially when that Matt Reeves Batman is going on. Sometimes when you have that golden goose, DC's being Batman, you rely on it too much, and you don't push yourself to get creative and think outside the box and tell truly great stories. The MCU not having Spider-Man or the X-Men or even the Fantastic Four forced them to get creative and make the best with what they had. And if there's one thing that James Gunn is absolutely brilliant at, it is making lesser known comic book characters shine. He did this with Guardians of the Galaxy, a comic line that no one knew fucking anything about before James Gunn. And Gunn has done this same thing over at DC with The Suicide Squad, Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, for Christ's sake. James Gunn is a master at making lesser-known characters icons. So if anyone is going to replicate what the MCU was able to do in that first phase, making characters like Iron Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Rhodey, Loki, and more into well-known and beloved heroes and villains, it's James Gunn. Now, my argument for them having the willingness not to lean on a well-established, heavy-hitting character like Batman also parallels an argument that I've talked about in the past regarding small budgets versus big budgets. Smaller budgets force you to be intentional with your money, whereas on a movie with a giant budget, you almost have too many options of what is possible. And a lot of the time, the smaller budget films are, one, way better, and while they might not make as much money at the box office, ratio-wise, they make a way larger percentage in terms of profit. And I think this perfectly parallels what DC could do with Batman, or not do with Batman. I think the DCU, not the Reeves verse Batman, I want that to continue and be its own thing, but the DCU, the shared cinematic universe of DC characters, they need to learn from those early days of the MCU that you don't put all of your eggs in that Spider-Man basket, or in DC's case, that Batman basket. And as of right now, they aren't, and I think it's paying off. Superman was phenomenal, and he's a character that can totally carry this franchise on his own. For too long, Batman has been the face of DC, and again, I love Batman, he's my favorite, but Superman, I mean, he's Superman. Now, a few months ago, I did do a video saying that they just needed to pull the plug on Matt Reeves' The Batman 2 if Matt Reeves wasn't going to direct it. And this was at a time when Reeves' script for the Batman 2 had still yet to be turned into the studio. And it was looking like he may never finish the damn thing, and there were even some reports of like behind the scenes drama and turmoil, and the gap between that first Batman and the Batman 2 was just getting bigger and bigger. And it honestly just felt like there was this huge anchor now attached to this new DCU as it was attempting to kick off a new universe and a new era of DC films and just bring a breath of fresh air to the franchise. So I made the argument that with the script for the Batman 2 still having yet to be completed, and there were some reports that Reeves may not even return to direct the film, I reached a point where I was saying, just, fucking forget it. Pull the plug, focus on making the DCU Batman that has been confirmed, by the way, for the DCU's Brave and the Bold, and who we actually did see in Creature Commandos. And remember, I want this to be super clear. The Reeves Batman universe, the Robert Pattinson Batman, it is separate from the DCU. It's an Elseworlds thing. It's its own thing. Pattinson's Batman has never really been seriously considered as the Batman that Gunn was going to have in the DCU. And that became even more evident when we got that 15 years ago flashback that featured Batman in Creature Commandos, making it impossible for this year 2 Batman, which is Pattinson's Batman, to be the DCU Batman. God, I hope nobody's taking a shot every time I say Batman. And guys, I've never loved the idea of having 2 Batman franchises running at the same time, but I'm also not a fan of this pitch for Robert Pattinson's Batman to be the DCU Batman. So here's my pitch. With Matt Reeves having now turned in his script for the Batman 2, and James Gunn saying how great it is, and production starting in early 2026, I am now calling for a temporary pumping of the brakes on the DCU Batman. I don't think we need 2 separate Batman franchises running at the same time. So what they need to do is make the Batman 2, make another season of Penguin, give Reeves a strict deadline to get the Batman 3 completed, finish out that franchise in the next, 6 years, and then bring in your DCU Batman. And what this will do is allow for Superman and the other DCU characters to really shine in this first phase or saga of the DCU, which James Gunn has coined Gods and Monsters. Let Superman have his spotlight. Let him have his trilogy. Let's get that Supergirl and Superman team-up movie, which is totally happening. Focus on the Lanterns, the Justice Gang, Peacemaker, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter. Give the these characters the limelight that they deserve in this new DCU, and let Pattinson's Batman do his thing over in the Reevesverse, and then in a few years after the Reeves Batman trilogy is done, and Superman and the rest of the DCU characters have had their chance to shine and stand alone and prove themselves as DC heroes not named Batman, and who have developed a really strong connection with the audiences, like we saw with those B-list characters from Phase 1 of the MCU, you then bring in Batman for the second chapter, or second saga, whatever they're calling it. Just like how with the MCU, Spider-Man didn't swing in until Phase 3, nearly 8 years after the MCU began. I hope that that's what James Gunn opts to do. He said in a recent interview that it is unlikely that we'd see 2 Batman movies release in 1 year. This was Gunn acknowledging the importance of keeping the Brave and the Bold release separate from any of Reeves' Batman films. And I hope that Gunn will take it a step further and just postpone his plans for Batman, something that the DCEU really should have done as well, instead of following up Man of Steel with not Man of Steel 2, but with fucking Batman v Superman. They were in such a rush to catch up with Marvel with the interconnectivity and the big blockbuster crossover movie, and that is just not something that James Gunn is going to do. He's going to take his time and he's going to let this brew, and it's going to be great. But hey, those are just my thoughts and theories. I would love to hear yours down in the comments below. Am I crazy? Do you think it'd be just insane not to have the DCU Batman, the Brave and the Bold Batman, introduced as soon as possible? Or do you agree with me that, hey, let the Reeves Batman do his thing, and then when that is done, then bring Batman into the DCU, and that gives him this big oh shit moment to be building toward with the DCU. It's gonna be a big deal if this really well-developed DCU that everyone is loving then brings in Batman. That's gonna be huge. So let me know your thoughts and theories down in the comments below, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Colton Ogburn, and I will see you next time. Bye!
You're still here. It's over.